Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the content patch for the 22nd of November 2014. My name is TotalBiscuit with today's gaming news and comment. Coming up in the show, Counter-Strike pros have been banned as a result of a Steam Workshop hack, and the nominees for Geoff Keighley's Game Awards 2014 have been announced. All this and the OC Remix track of the day, which is a very special one this time around, is coming your way right about now. A wave of bannings has hit several pro gamers within the Counter-Strike Go scene, including the player SF from Team Epsilon and KQLY from Titan. This comes at a time of growth for the Counter-Strike Go community, with the DreamHack Winter Tournament kicking off next week, and this has resulted in the disqualification of 2 teams that were qualified for that event. The hack in question could even be used at LAN events, since it downloaded through the Steam Cloud due to an exploit in the Steam Workshop, so it was entirely possible that it could be run at a LAN event without any actual detection. LP Kane of the organization ESEA confirmed that they had shared information about a high-profile cheater with Valve and then had worked with them to improve their detection methods. He also claimed that more VAC bans would be rolling out soon. The result of this within the Counter-Strike community is, needless to say, not brilliant, and it sparked a witch hunt where people are actively looking for accounts which transfer all of their valuable skins and items to another account, perhaps because they believe they're going to get banned and lose those items. Needless to say, this is not an accurate way of determining who has and has not cheated, particularly when it's entirely possible that said people could have otherwise had their accounts compromised, hacked, or scammed one way or another. So I am suggesting, from this particular perch, that you don't bloody witch hunt people. Wait for the VAC bans to come out and see what happens. Well, this sucks. There's no doubt about that. This absolutely sucks for the Counter-Strike Go Pro scene, and this is a scene that's been growing significantly over the past year and a half or so, since Valve has thrown a lot more weight behind the support of this particular game with larger prize pools and esports-specific updates. This is the sort of stuff that those who perhaps followed Team Fortress 2 or even the previous Counter-Strike scenes would have very much liked to see from Valve, but Valve has very much stepped it up lately when it comes to supporting esports games within its own catalog. They've put a lot of money behind Dota 2, and they're continuing to put money behind Counter-Strike Go, and it seems that CSGO is a consistent earner for them, thanks to the addition of weapon crate skins and the, frankly, fairly expensive campaign map packs, which can be purchased in the in-game store. In my opinion, it's absolutely fantastic to see a team-focused first-person shooter come back to the fore that doesn't happen to use a controller and auto-aim. So the growth of the scene to me is fantastic, even though I personally don't watch a great deal of Counter-Strike Go. I play Deathmatch and some Arms Race, and that's really about it, but I'm very glad that it's growing. This absolutely sucks. There's no other way to describe it. I remember a long time ago that the Brood War pro scene took a massive hit and lost a great deal of confidence from sponsors and broadcasters after a scandal involving rigged matches, the throwing of matches in order to benefit certain betting rings. This was unveiled, many players were blacklisted for life. It was a scandal that rocked the Brood War scene in Korea and many would argue contributed significantly to its downfall. And that's not the sort of thing that I want to see for modern esports games. I don't want that thing to happen again. And there's no doubt that anyone in their right mind would condemn the players responsible for this, because it's such a short-sighted thing to do. A healthy scene with a lot of money coming into it is good for everyone. If the scene is marred by cheating, then not only do you lose the confidence of the viewers, but you also lose the confidence of the sponsors and event organizers. And you absolutely don't want to do any of those things, because all of those are required to make a solid, healthy, sustainable scene. You take away any aspect of that, then things start to fall to pieces quite rapidly. I'm glad that Valve seems to have gotten a handle on this. I'm certainly hoping that they will continue to pursue this aggressively. And all I can really do at this point is to express my sympathy for the fans of the Counter-Strike Global Offensive esports scene. This sucks. It's happened within Brood War before. It hurt Brood War a great deal. I certainly hope that the quick actions of Valve and hopefully those of pro gamers and team organizers are able to bring this to a swift end without too much more damage being done. And finally, the nominations for Geoff Keighley's Game Awards 2014 have come in. The event will be taking place in Las Vegas on December the 5th, 2014, and there are tickets on sale for it. And before I go into this particular bit of news, full disclosure, I am nominated for one of these awards. So I might be just a little bit biased. Bearing all that in mind, let's take an opportunity to go through the process, and I'll also try to give you my opinions on this Game Awards show in general. Because let's be honest, if I asked you to name a good Game Awards show, you'd probably be drawing a blank. Because frankly, there aren't really any. The VGX last year was embarrassing, and a lot of the Spike TV stuff was exceptionally corporate and frankly a waste of everybody's time. Now, Geoff Keighley's actually sponsoring this out of his own pocket and doing a lot of the organization himself. So my hope is that with a lot of good people involved, it will end up being great, but we will see. I'm always very skeptical about these award shows, and honestly, I don't find a great deal of value in them anyway, but I think that it could be a great celebration of what we've achieved as an industry, assuming that it's executed well. So let's have a look at some of the categories here. So there's a bunch of jury-voted categories, and then there are a few fan choices which can be voted for. So Game of the Year, they've got Bayonetta 2, Dark Souls 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Hearthstone, and Shadow of Mordor. I wouldn't say that's too bad of a list, really. Bayonetta 2 is certainly a candidate. I wouldn't say Dark Souls 2 is, but Dragon Age Inquisition's a good game. Hearthstone, obviously. That's a little bit of an odd choice, I think, for a lot of people. Some people are going to scratch their heads at it, but frankly, it's phenomenally successful and continues to be to this day. And then Shadow of Mordor, which was quite a surprise for a lot of people. So, yeah, I can dig that list. And obviously, there's always going to be the issue of, well, where's this? Where's that? But yeah, that's always going to happen in an award show. Then we have Developer of the Year. We've got Blizzard, Monolith, Nintendo, Telltale, and Ubisoft Montreal. If Ubisoft Montreal wins that, then I'm going to be very surprised. Strangely enough, the CEOs or presidents of most of those studios are actually on the advisory board. So I'm not really 100% sure what's been going on with that, but it has certainly happened. Oh well, I suppose it's equally biased if they're all involved in it. If Ubisoft Montreal wins that, then burn the place to the ground. No way. Not this year. Absolutely not. Best Independent Game. Broken Age Act 1, Monument Valley, Shovel Knight, Transistor, and The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. Kinda surprised to not see Never Alone on there, since that seems to be getting a lot of hype at the moment. Also surprised to see Broken Age on there because it's not done yet. That's a little bit weird to me. I'm not a huge fan of putting unfinished games on a best game list, but it is there. Shovel Knight and Transistor, obviously great additions to that. Monument Valley, it's a nice mobile game at the end of the day. I probably wouldn't put it on the level of the rest of them, but it's not too shabby nonetheless, and Vanishing of Ethan Carter is quite the incredible thing indeed. So, there you go. And then they've got Best Mobile and Handheld Game. It's a shame that they decided to jam them both into the same box, because I really don't think that is doing service to either. I think there's a lot of very interesting mobile games that could have been listed here, but you've got a weird mishmash. You've got Bravely Default, which is a 3DS game, Hearthstone, which is a PC game, which also happens to be on iPad, Monument Valley, which is an iPad game, Smash Brothers 3DS, and then Threes, which is on Android and the iOS devices. There's been plenty of good 3DS and Vita games out this year. I'd prefer that to be a separate category, frankly, because I don't think it really does service to either of them. I don't disagree with the choices, absolutely not, but I think it's a shame that they both got jammed into the same thing. They're not the same. Mobile devices tend to generate a different kind of game to the 3DS and the Vita, and I think that perhaps they should be separated. Best Narrative, South Park Stick of Truth. Yeah, I can see that. Walking Dead Season 2, The Wolf Among Us, Valiant Hearts, The Great War, and Wolfenstein: The New Order. Surprising, I suppose, to see Wolfenstein on there, but frankly, it had a pretty damn good story, even though it was a very dumb game in terms of its gameplay. So I don't really object to any of the choices there. That's all pretty good. Best Score and Soundtrack. We find under here, we got Alien Isolation, Child of Light, Destiny, Sunset Overdrive, and Transistor. Yeah, I think those are all fair choices. Nothing really out of the ordinary there. Hopefully Transistor will get a fair shake. Best Performance, this is voice actors. We've got Adam Harrington as Bigby the Wolf, Kevin Spacey as Jonathan Irons from COD, Melissa Hutchinson as Clementine from Walking Dead, Trey Parker as various voices. Trey Parker, really? We're going to shove him in there? Apparently. And then Troy Baker as Talion from Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Strangely enough, we don't have Pagan Min's voice actor, who also happens to be Troy Baker, in there as well. I think perhaps his performance there is significantly better than Talion, but there you go. It's good to see a mix of celebrity voice actors with a few professionals nonetheless. Would certainly like to see more focus on rewarding good voice actors. Then we have Games for Change, which I don't know what that means, if I'm going to be honest. That's a fairly nebulous category. And what we've got is Mountain, Never Alone, The Last of Us Left Behind, which is a DLC, This War of Mine, and Valiant Hearts: The Great War. That's a bit of a weird eclectic category, because you've got Mountain, which is arguably not even a game. You've then got Never Alone, which is obviously in there because it has a great deal of cultural significance to some of the Alaskan people. You then got Last of Us Left Behind. I assume that's probably to do with the protagonist. This War of Mine and Valiant Hearts The Great War both have different takes on warfare, so that's good as well. Again, I think the inclusion of Mountain is a very odd choice, personally, but maybe it's just a case of the category sounding a little bit weird, and once it's given proper explanation at the awards show, the context will be better understood. We then got Best Remaster. Do we really want to actually reward this behavior? I guess we do. Grand Theft Auto 5, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, The Last of Us Remastered, the Master Chief Collection, and Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. Hopefully the Master Chief Collection does not get that, considering it is plagued with matchmaking problems, meaning that many people can't even play the multiplayer, and this is more than a week on from release. That game is broken right now. It's perhaps not getting as much coverage because Unity is maybe a bit more broken, but that game did not come out in a good state. Not at all, and they need to be held accountable for that. So let's hope that they don't get an award for releasing it in that state. Best Shooter, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, Destiny, Far Cry 4, Titanfall, and Wolfenstein The New Order. Interestingly enough, Master Chief Collection is not included in that. Okay, alright, well, I don't think there's anything really missing from there, as far as I can see. Nothing that I personally would point to. I personally hope that Wolfenstein wins that. I certainly think it's the best out of the bunch there. Best Action and Adventure. We've got Alien Isolation, Assassin's Creed Unity. No. No. Bayonetta 2, Shadow of Mordor, and Sunset Overdrive. That's going to be between Bayonetta 2 and Shadow of Mordor, I think. Although it is a little bit weird to see Alien Isolation in there, since it's a fundamentally different genre to everything else on that list. But I guess they didn't want to do horror, and some people would argue that Alien Isolation isn't really horror anyway, so it's got a shot, but I'd certainly like to see how the Shadow of Mordor or Bayonetta 2 grab in that one. Best RPG... Wasteland 2 isn't on the bloody list. Where is it? Come on, they've got Divinity Original Sin, but no Wasteland 2. That's a little bit strange. Bravely Default, Dark Souls 2, Divinity, Dragon Age Inquisition, and South Park The Stick of Truth. Wouldn't necessarily disagree with any of those choices. I just think that missing out Wasteland 2 is a bit silly. Best Fighting Game. Apparently there were 5 fighting games coming out this year. That's actually kind of surprising. And most of them actually are just updates to existing ones. You've got Killer Instinct Season 2, which is DLC. Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which is basically a standalone expansion pack. Smash Brothers, both versions, 3DS and Wii U. Really? I guess that shows how few fighting games actually came out this year. And Ultra Street Fighter 4, which is again an expansion pack to an existing fighting game. So that's a little bit of an unfortunate list, isn't it? Like, what fighting games actually came out this year? The answer is, well, not a great deal. There are some more obscure ones, but outside of that, those are the big hitters, and, well, they're all expansion packs, so there you go. Oh well, never mind. Best Family Game. What have they got for this one? Disney Infinity, Fantasia Music Evolved, Mario Kart 8, Skylanders Trap Team, and Tomodachi Life. Sure, why not? You know, again, it's a very generic sort of category. Doesn't really have a great deal of definition. Best Sports and Racing Game, FIFA 15, Forza Horizon 2, Mario Kart 8, NBA 2K15 Trials Fusion. Sure. Why not? That sounds reasonable, nothing really missing there. Best Online Experience. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Better not! That would be hilariously dumb. Hey, do you like a game that has no dedicated servers, which can result in some games being laggy, and can also result in hacking, and can also result in being told that your mother is a whore by a 10-year-old? Well, don't worry, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is here for you. You've also got Hearthstone, Destiny, Dark Souls 2, and Titanfall. It's a weird category that really shouldn't be there. I don't think, like... they could have just said best online multiplayer game. I don't know what best online experience means. I mean, it's also very strange not to see a single MMO on that list unless you count Destiny. That's a bit of an odd one. So those are the jury voted ones, and then you've got a few fan choices. Most anticipated game. The votes are between Arkham Knight, Witcher 3, Uncharted 4, Evolve, and Bloodborne. You've then got Esports Team of the Year, which is a very weird specific category. Ninjas in Pajamas is on there. Evil Geniuses, Samsung White, Newbie, and Edward Gaming. Esports Player of the Year. Not a single goddamn StarCraft player on this list, I might add. You got Nadeshot, who's a COD player. You got Get Right, who is a CSGO player. You got Reckles, who's a League player. You have Firebat, who's a Hearthstone player. And you happen to have FY, who is a Dota 2 player. That's a very weird mix of nothing. I mean, it's a very strange one. Firebat, of all people? You would have thought that Hearthstone would have had a more notable person there. I know he won something, absolutely, but... I don't know, it's a strange mix, whatever. It's the fan choice, I guess it's not really a big deal. Then you got Trending Gamer, which is only a big deal because, well, I'm kind of on it and I would like to win it over PewDiePie, but I know I won't. But I'm gonna say it anyway. So currently you got me, Jeff Gersman, who deserves it far more than me, PewDiePie, who could go jump down a well, frankly. Vanos, who the hell? I don't even know who that is. And then Stampy Longhead, who makes Minecraft things. So there you go. That's the trending gamer one. You can go vote for me if you like. Links in the description below. Or vote for Geoff. Just don't vote for PewDiePie. He has enough stuff already. Seriously. Doesn't need anything else. God damn it. And then best fan creation, which is Twitch Plays Pokemon. They created a disease with that damn thing. Luigi Death Stare, best Zelda rap, Minecraft Titan City, and Mine the Diamond, a Minecraft song. Who picked these? It's a very strange thing indeed, isn't it? Alright, well, that's the fan choice stuff, which is, again, a bit eclectic to say the least. So, that's the roundup of it. I think most of the nominations are reasonable, considering, although, again, the fan choice is a bit random. If this is going to work, if this is actually going to be something worth watching, then what I would like to see is quite simply this. A bunch of really exciting new stuff. I want to see game developers get on stage and tell me about their new stuff. I want to be able to hear the passion in their voice. Because really, an award show for gaming should be celebrating what we are about as an industry. It should be celebrating the people that play games and the people that make games. And that's all it should be focused on. If someone wins an award, I want to know why. If someone is nominated for an award, I want to know why. Let me hear from the developers. Let me hear from people around the scene about why this game has been nominated in the first place. Don't just reel off a list of games and then pick something. I want to know the reasoning behind it, because that's what celebrating games really is all about. They need that recognition beyond simply having their name read out on a piece of cardboard. That's what I would like to see. I would like to see a focus on positivity. I would like to see a focus on inclusivity, and I'd like to see a focus on celebrating a truly successful industry and all of the awesome people involved in it. And if they're able to do that with minimal gimmicks, with a focus on the games, with a focus on the people that make them and enjoy them, then perhaps Game Awards will actually be worth watching. I hope so. I've spoken to Geoff Keighley once. I think that for the most part, he seems to be a genuine bloke. We'll see what he can come up with, and frankly, if he's got his own money on the line for this thing, then he certainly has a reason to not have it suck. So let's see if he can execute it. I certainly hope so. Alright, folks, that is me done for the day. Thank you very much for watching the content patch. But before I go, a very special OC Remix track of the day. If you usually tune out for this bit, don't this time. Just once. Just give me the benefit of the doubt. Just this once. So, I actually sponsor OC Remix. Obviously, I get to use their music for free, which is awesome, so it only seemed fair to support their Patreon, so I got the sponsor tier of it, which gives various benefits, but one of them was to be entered into a prize draw to get a commissioned remix, and I won that prize draw, and I asked them to produce something from Ace Combat, because they've never done that before, and I picked a track from Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation, which is called The Liberation of Grace Maria. It's not a track that a lot of people really point to as being part of the amazing soundtracks of Ace Combat. A lot of people like to focus on Ace Combat 4 and 5, and to some degree Belkin War, but I find the Fires of Liberation soundtrack to be absolutely fantastic. So I requested Liberation of Grace Maria, and Brandon Strader is the remixer for this particular one, and he's got an epic rock take on it. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it, and you can download it in the description below this video. I'll see you next time.